No problem.
Oh, God, I so missed that. Thanks very much, Lara. We're recording now.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm super happy to see that. Guys, Tracy's invited me on this call today because we had a great conversation, I think it was last weekend, about, the summer months. And oftentimes people will, I get that this may be a part-time business for you, but I also get that you may have dreams and goals and aspirations that you would like to use Senegence as the vehicle to accomplish. In order to do that, whether you're doing this as part-time or full-time, you must consistently do something for your business every single day. Okay. And one of the things that unfortunately happens when you're not used to working for yourself, and remember, you are all entrepreneurs. This is not a job. It's completely up to you how much time you invest in it. But to reach those goals and dreams, sometimes you've got to let go of all the excuses. And the excuses during the summer months will sound like, oh, but I'm going camping this weekend. Oh, we had a barbecue planned. I already had something, going on. And I know that those all sound like very valid points, okay? But none of those activities will add to your bottom line with your Senegence business. So that's not to guilt you out. It just means that you're going to have to step it up in another area if you're going camping for the weekend. Do you know what I mean? Because if you don't consistently participate in some activity to grow your business every day, no big surprise at the end of 30, 60, 90 days when you have no business. Okay. And there is such a big detriment in the summer because people tend to, it's cold here, right? When we have summer, we want to be out, we want to be hanging with family. But as long as you can determine which activities you can fit around your existing schedule, you will continue to grow your business and you won't suffer the severe consequences, which typically happen 90 days later. So July may end up being a good month for you because you've already got somewhat of an organization or some new people that are excited and they're working while maybe you're not. But what will happen if you're not constantly adding to your business is it'll actually affect you in October. And you'll be sitting around thinking that, I'm working so hard in October and my business isn't growing. And it won't be the efforts in October that count so much for October. It's what you did in July. And so when Tracy and I had that conversation, we thought, what a great time to move you guys along the success track and give you some additional coaching. So I know one of the things that Tracy asked you was for each of you to uncover and discover and write down what your whys were. Now, in the last training, I did cover the fact that your why is not a goal. Okay, it's really important that you understand the difference. When you're writing out your why must cause an emotional response. Okay, and sure, you could say that earning $500 more a month, your car payment, whatever that works out to be, would cause an emotional response. You're like, yeah, I earned $500, and that's a fabulous goal. But a why get you putting in extra effort because nothing and nobody is getting in the way of your dreams. I'll give you a personal example. I've shared this before on many calls, so maybe you've seen it, but it's the only story I have is my own, and I'll share it. Initially when I got involved in network marketing, I'm a single mom. I've got two grown adult daughters now. They're 18 and 29 years old. And I'll tell you, raising them was not simple. And there were many, many times, for example, when they were in school, okay, and they would get a field trip notification to come home. Gosh, I still get emotional when I think about this because I will never, ever forget what it's like to get that notification, see the excitement in my child's eyes, and know that I couldn't afford to pay it. And it didn't matter if it was $35 or $200. If payday wasn't for 4 days, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I could not afford to just write a check without stressing about it. without trying to figure it out. And the ones that were $200 were just not going to happen. And you know what happened as a result of that? My kid got to go, but you know what I had to do? I had to face that shame, guilt, and remorse, contact the school principal, ask to get on a list of charities so that, and please don't tell my child. And, but my initial response, she knew that I didn't have the money. And so all of a sudden her heart was deflated and she felt less than and not good enough and all of those feelings. And so you know what my why was? Never again were my children going to have to wonder if they could participate like the average child in any activity that they wanted to do. And yes, that may sound like money, okay? It may sound like it's money to you, but guys, it really wasn't the goal. It was that feeling I had that made me burst into tears at the idea that I couldn't provide everything for my children. And that's what I wrote out when I wrote out my why. Now, I will tell you that obviously money solved some of that. But when I'm exhausted after a full-time day of work, and I get home at the end, and I'm considering working my network marketing business, or just relaxing because I need some balance and I'm super exhausted today, and I read that why, okay, that why, I find the juice to give it an hour at least of my time on my business. But when I'm looking at a separate piece of paper that says $500 and it's got no meaning to it, and there's nothing I've dug deep enough to cause an emotional response, I'm going, oh, I'll work on getting the $500 tomorrow. Because you know what? I need to relax. Do you see the difference? Hopefully you understand the difference between a why and a goal now. And so let's talk about your goals. The only way to achieve goals is to ensure that you have written them down in a specific manner. And the way that I like to teach you is Sales 101, okay? SMART goals. Some of this may be old information for you, but let's apply it here. SMART is an actual acronym, okay? The S stands for specific, okay? What is it that you would like to accomplish? I'm going to go through each of the letters and then we'll go back to making some goals. M is make it measurable. How are you going to know when you've accomplished your goal? Okay, so you've got to measure it. A is attainable. How can the goal be accomplished? Is it something that is attainable for you? R, make it relevant. Is the goal worth it? And is it worth working hard enough to accomplish? Okay, and T, make it timely. When will the goal be accomplished? So just as a reminder, because I know you guys are furiously writing, S is for specific. M is for measurable. A is attainable. R is relevant. And T stands for timely. That's a SMART goal. So some people would say to me, well, this month I want to get my girls reactivated in their Senegence businesses. Let me ask you that. Is that specific? Absolutely not. Is it measurable? Nope. Is it really relevant? I don't know, to growing your personal business? Maybe, right? And that's not picking apart that goal, okay? It's a starting place. But if you use SMART as the tool to redefine that goal, here's what that goal might look like. I've identified 3 women that I would like to help to rank advance during the month of July to ladies in waiting by the end of July or by July 31st. Now, depending on the size of your organization, just bear with me and don't get caught in the semantics because you don't have people to grow to ladies in waiting at this point. Don't worry about that. Just follow it through. Was that specific? Absolutely. There's 3 women. The goal is ladies in waiting, right? Is it measurable? Is it attainable? Well, yes, if you have an organization and you've identified different women that are actually building a business to move them from one rank to the next and help them and assist them, right, is absolutely a goal, Okay. Was it measurable? Yes, I identified the number and the time frame. Was it timely? Absolutely. I said during the month of July, and then I repeated a stop date of July 31st. So I turned that initial goal into a SMART goal, and then you can start looking at action steps. Let's say on their front lines, and I'm not suggesting for a minute this is how our comp plan works. This is just an example of some training that I can offer you. Let's say people were looking to rank advance, and you'd identified your goal. You're going to help 3 women, okay? Then you sit down with those 3 women, and in order for them to accomplish that, let's say they each needed 3 or we'll use, let's say they each needed 3 new qualified distributors on their front line, okay? And qualified meant each of those 3 distributors had to do orders of 300 PV. Are you with me? Okay? So they wrote their goals out, and they said, and what, you know, they came to me, Tracy came to me and said, I would like to recruit 3 brand new distributors that each do a minimum of 300 PV during the by July 31st. Again, I made sure that was a SMART goal when I'm sitting with her. Now we look at actions. In order to get 3, the law of you know, statistically, okay, in order to get 1 distributor, you may have to present 10 times. Now, let me tell you this. Senegence is a very unique company with extraordinary products, a fabulous compensation plan, a wonderful corporate team, just saying, and some awesome, incredible testimonials, okay? With all of that in mind, there is a good chance that your ratio may be more than 1 in 10. It may be 1 for 1 or 1 in 2 or 1 in 3, but I'm going to use the variable of 1 in 10, and you can adjust the dials according to the person you're working with, okay? So if it took 10 presentations, okay, to recruit 3 brand new distributors that each did 300 PV, how many presentations do you need to do in the month of July? Pretty simple math. 3 times 10 equals 30, right? If, okay, you have to do 30 presentations, wouldn't it be simpler to do 3 live launch parties or demo parties where you got 10 guests each at those 3 launch parties? Absolutely. Now, isn't it true that every single person that you call to invite to a demo party doesn't say yes? Am I right or right? Right? Of course. Now, using the same ratio, okay, and this is going to feel like a lot. Well, actually, let's reduce it a bit. Let's say 1 in every 5 phone calls that you make shows up at a demo party, okay? If that's the case and you would like to get 10 confirmed guests that show up, you're going to have to make 50 phone calls. Now that may seem overwhelming, but I will tell you that I used to manage and run very large call centers, 400-seat call centers, okay? You know how long it takes the average person when they actually sit down and commit to making phone calls to make 50 phone calls? You can actually accomplish that in about 2 hours, okay? Let's double it and say it took you 4 hours or even 10 hours. If your launch or demo is next week, can you commit to 2 hours a day of invitations? Absolutely you can. And so what I'm trying to show you is that every single step of the way, there's an action step that leads to a result, okay? Once you've identified the goals for somebody, you can backtrack to the very specific, consistent action steps that somebody could do every day. If you wanted 1 guest to show up, could you make 5 phone calls a day to get 1 guest to show up? Absolutely. That would take you, what, 20 minutes? To make 5 quick phone calls. If you're going to have conversations, it may take you as much as a half hour, okay? Especially if you use the script that I've taught you where you're way too busy to get into it right now, okay? So when you backtrack the action steps, it becomes a very easy formula that you can teach and train every single person, whether it's their first day in the business or their 5,000th day in the business. If they're setting goals and they're making them SMART goals, you can list out the actions to take to achieve those goals, because it's going to take conversations. It's going to take invitation. It is going to take presentations, whether those are one-on-one or in a group setting with a demo, okay? If you're not, like, remember everybody, input equals output. So if you want live bodies in front of you, you are going to have to expose the opportunity. And my suggestion with a brand new person is don't get fabulous at presenting Senegence. Get fabulous at inviting. Inviting and follow-up are the keys. Let your upline be the one that does the presenting. And for many of you, you're not in the same province as Tracy. No big deal. You know what you do when your launch, your demo party starts? You stick her with your computer on your counter or your coffee table, and you let her do the presenting. You hear that enough times, and you'll get good at doing it yourself. But don't ever allow a brand new person to do it themselves their first couple of times. Always be there to teach and train and coach them, and have them watch what you're doing that you know is already a proven way to success. And so that's what I wanted to cover today, because I know you had all written down your whys. I know that we've now spoken about your goals. I really want you to go back and make sure that all your goals are done in the SMART way, as SMART goals, okay? And that you understand the formula. Remember, I said 1 in 10 will close. I don't know that that's the right ratio. That's what Brian Tracy, who's a direct selling guru, sales guru, says. And I don't try and reinvent the wheel, but what you'll find is you'll sit down with people and you'll say, phone calls equal committed people that you can get in front of, which end up equaling customers or distributors. So you can actually design the formula according to their skill set. Start them out with 1 in 10. Tell them for every 10 presentations you do, my hope, but my assumption is you're going to get 1 new distributor or customer. And then when they come back to you and say, oh my gosh, this is blowing up. Every time I talk to, I'm talking to 3 people and I'm getting a distributor or a customer. Awesome. Then their formula is 3 calls gets them, 5 calls gets them 3 committed presentations, and out of those 3 presentations, they get 1 new distributor or customer. You can adjust the volume on the formula, either up or down. Doesn't matter who the person is, okay? So that's it for me today. That's what I wanted to cover, Tracy. I hope that that was helpful. The most important thing now is 2 things, okay? 1, that you leave this conversation and you write your goals out and you share them all with Tracy. 2, that I want to see that they're timely for the month of July, okay? What activities are you wanting to accomplish? What goals are you wanting to reach for the month of July? And I'm always going to say, make them SMART, right? Once you've done that and Tracy has that list, okay, we can actually schedule some train the trainer training in the future, because the next step is go share both trainings that you've now been witness to or you've already watched and duplicate it, okay? Duplicate it by doing one of these calls where Tracy can either walk them through the training or you can one-on-one give them this training, and then you'll have 2, 3, 5 more people running with you in the month of July. Let them know that you're participating in this training group, that you'd love to have them on board. One of the things you have to accomplish is identifying 2, 3, 5 leaders yourself, and then sharing the information and getting them to write out their whys, their goals, and of course in between their lists, which you would have gotten from the last video. So that's it for me, ladies.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Lara, for jumping in on this call. And I know it's
Absolutely.
super helpful for everybody.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, we value your time and we look forward to our next session.
Guys, I can't wait to meet you all. I'm really excited. Please don't hesitate to contact me anytime. Add me on Facebook, text, messenger me. I will get back to you. And I'm just super grateful to get to be here working with the Senegence family. Bye for now.
Thanks very much, ladies. Bye, Lara. Thank you.